Good morning, children. Welcome to day 2 social class, online teaching class. In the previous class, we discussed about the arrival of Sun Yat-sen and his policies. He designed the 3 principles. The 3 principles: SAN, nationalism. What is meant by nationalism? Nationalism is a oneness or bondingness among the people of the country. So the bondingness is very important for the country. In a country, in a number of languages, culture and religious people are living in a country. If there is no any bonding among them, this is not developed. It is very difficult to develop the country. So to create oneness or bondingness, the feeling of my country, my people, this is very important. That is called the oneness or bondingness is called nationalism. And another one, democracy. Democracy means Sun Yat-sen, he studied number of books and he was very much inspired by the European countries, how they are following the democratic systems, the governments established by the representatives of the people and all. He also interested in that type of government to form in China also. And the next one, socialism. Socialism, he was very much attracted by the socialism which already developed in Soviet Union. The socialism here in China also, landlords domination was more and landless people, they suppressed in the hands of the landlords. So he want to distribute the land among the poor people and he want to bring equality among the people of China. So that's why socialism. So these 3 principles he want to develop in China also. He want to form China on these lines, not in the absolute monarchy. So what happened here? Already we discussed. In 1911, Republican government formed under the leadership of Sun Yat-sen. But the warlords, these people, regionally very powerful military people, they joined hands with European powers and all, and they forced and they put lot of pressure on the Republican government. That's why Sun Yat-sen's government became success. So it was a failure. It became a failure. Then after that, lot of changes take place in China. In the warlords again they got control. Warlords again they got the control and power into their hands. In this situation, in 1919, one famous incident taken place when movement started in China. That is May 4th movement. It took place in 1919. May 4th movement, 1919. Why? What happened here? Children, we are aware that the First World War took place from 1914 to 1918. In 1919, Treaty of Versailles, one agreement taken place between the Allied powers and defeated powers, that is Axis powers, that is called Treaty of Versailles. In that Treaty of Versailles, the injustice done to Chinese people. Actually, in the First World War, China, Japan, both the countries, they worked in the side of Allied powers. But here what happened? Japan occupied some territories of China. And the Allied powers promised to China that after that completion of the First World War, they will give back their territories to China. They will take the territories from Japan and they will give back to China. But that promise was not kept by the Allied powers. So that's why the Allied powers not kept that promise, and the Chinese territories which were occupied by Japan were not at all given back to them. Because of this incident, the people of China, they got angry. And they decided to protest against the injustice done to China. So they decided to gather at Beijing or Peking, the capital of China, on May 4th, 1919. So from all the parts of the China, the youth, the students, particularly youth and all the people, farmers and people of all sections, they gathered at Beijing and they protested against Treaty of Versailles. And they demanded the government, the European powers, that they demanded, what were their demands? First demand, the territories has to given back to China. Next one is the people, that is the European powers has to leave China and China has to form its own government. And the language or script should be single. Chinese language, very complex language. They demanded that the language or script should be simple. And they want to make China in modern methods. So they want to complete against, they demanded that completely old traditional methods should be abolished and China should be developed on modern methods. And also the science and technological development they demanded in China. And also that they also demanded equal importance for women. In China, the women position was subordinate position. There was no equality, there was no freedom, nothing for them. They were treated as second grade, that is subordinate position. And some cruel practices also there in China. What the cruel practices? Foot binding system. One of the cruel practices practiced in China, foot binding system. According to this system, the women in China should not allow to fully grown feet. What is this? This is actually the feet. According to age, the women actually feet according to the age, the feet also will increase. But in China, the women feet should not increase according to the age. The women feet should not be grown fully, and they use it to cover it with bandages and all to stop the growth. Very cruel practice, foot binding system. So here in this May 4th movement, the people revolted against this foot binding system also. And they also demanded equal importance for women education and equal rights for women, and in the marriages and all things. In China also at the early age only they used to marriage to women. So that should be stopped. These are all old practices should be stopped, and against this, these people, the May 4th movement, the youth and all, they demanded that against this. So it became a big, and even though immediately the changes not taken place, and it created awareness among the people. It created lot of awareness among the people. In this time, what happened in China? New party formed. That is National People's Party. It was formed in 1919. National People's Party. It is also called as Kuomintang Party. Kuomintang or GMT. Kuomintang Party or Kuomintang. KMT. Kuomintang Party or KMT. Kuomintang Party. So simply Kuomintang Party or Kuomintang also we call that, and it is also called National People's Party. And the first leader of this KMT, Sun Yat-sen. The first leader of KMT, Sun Yat-sen. So this party, first leader of the party, he decided and he designed that this party has mainly they have to fight for four great needs of the people. What are the four great needs of the people? Actually, the basic needs of the people: food, shelter, and clothing. But here they added one more, that is food, shelter, clothing, and transportation also. Because for the development of the country, transportation also very important. So that's why this KMT party concentrated mainly on the four basic needs of the people: food, shelter, clothing, and transportation. So, and at the same time, in 1990, this party formed. 1990. After 2 years, one more party formed in China. That is Chinese Communist Party. Chinese Communist Party. It is formed in 1921. Chinese Communist Party, it is called as CCP. Chinese Communist Party formed in 1921. So this party was formed
This is a communist party. It was formed. This party was formed by the support of USSR. So the aim of both the parties, KMT and CCP, is same. That is to liberate China from the hands of the European powers, and at the same time to bring, to unite China completely, and to bring and to develop China in the modern lines. So for that purpose, because the aim is same. So starting both the parties, they worked together. Both the parties, KMT and CCP, both worked together. But till the death of Sun Yat-sen, both Sun Yat-sen death took place in 1925. Till 1925, both the parties worked together. But after that, what happened? After the death of Sun Yat-sen, differences took place between these two countries. Differences took place. After the death of Sun Yat-sen, the new leader emerged to this KMT party. The new leader emerged to this KMT party in the place of Sun Yat-sen.
KMT party, new leader, Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek, he emerged as the new leader of KMT party. So, he not maintained good relations with another party, CCP. He not maintained good relations with the CCP. And when he came to be leader of this party, he concentrated more on the development of urban areas. That is, the main social base of KMT is urban areas. He concentrated on the development of urban areas. The main China faced the problem in the rural areas,
because the poverty is more in the rural areas, and the people, landless people, they suffered a lot in the hands of the landlords, and warlords' domination was more and more. But people want to come out of that, but he not concentrated on that. He concentrated on the development of the urban areas. So he first of all he want to reduce the powers of warlords. He want to reduce the domination of warlords. That's why what he did, he militarized the country. Means he want to impose military rule on the country. He imposed also military rule on the country, and he want to reduce the domination of warlords. But 100% he was not became successful in that, but little bit he became successful. He concentrated more on urban areas. He had not at all taken importance to rural areas. So he want to develop the important cities of China. So slowly urbanization started in China. So by that, what happened 1919, by 1920s, 5 lakh people, they migrated from the rural areas of China to urban areas. So then the important city, Shanghai, one of the important city of China, Shanghai, development of Shanghai started in this period only. So the industries, one by one, slowly established industries, the modern industries like shipbuilding and all started establishing in the urban areas. So the people who migrated to urban areas, so they left their agricultural lands and all, they migrated, but in that only some people only they got good employment in the industries and all. But most of the people who went to city areas, the cities, newly developing cities, developing cities, they not got jobs. They settled as petty urbanites. That is, they were called as Jioshimin. Jioshimin means petty urbanites. Petty urbanites. Petty means small. Urbanites who settled in urban areas. They were called petty urbanites, means just like small shopkeepers, small business people, shopkeepers, street vendors like that. So doing small type of works. So most of the people they settled like this, they were called as petty urbanites. In Chinese language they were called as Jioshimin. Why they settled? Because all the people not able to get jobs in the industries. So what happened? Development of industries is not an easy thing. It requires a lot of money. It will take a lot of time to establish industry, to give employment in that. It took a lot of time. So naturally what happened? Same happened in China also. So it took a lot of time and very slow development. Very slow development. People can't wait till that time because they have to get money for their livelihood, for their survival. So that's why they settled as petty urbanites. And working conditions also not at all good. Why? Because long working hours, wages are very, very less, and no importance for women, and no special facilities, nothing for the women, no importance for women, and all. Even women also, they worked very, very hard to earn the money. So in this way, all suffered. People suffered a lot, but development taken very less. But whatever it may be,
Slow development started. Slow development. In 1902, the famous Peking University was established. Famous Peking University was established in 1902. Slowly the development of education. The trade unions started forming. Development of education slowly started. And people even slowly people started thinking about the importance of education, changing in the lifestyle and the old traditions and all. They are started thinking about that. Their attitude also changed, and the journalism and all the new professions and new type of thinking, new professions also started in his period. But here the conditions like this in cities, but up to the mark, not up to the expected level, development not taken place. This naturally brought dissatisfaction in the minds of the people. What they expected, that was not happened here. And even Chiang also, he was not able to completely control the warlords, and he was the most important, he was a conservative. What is conservative? Conservative person means who supports the old practices and traditional practices, don't want to change any new, don't want to bring any change in the society, not interested in modern things. So Chiang also is a conservative. Chiang Kai-shek was a conservative. He don't want to give importance for women. He said that women play should be confined to household activities only. He don't want to give the rights and all to women. And according to him, women has to follow 4 virtues. According to Chiang Kai-shek, women has to follow 4 virtues. What are the 4 virtues women has to follow? Chastity. Chastity means sacredness. They must be sacred. And next, appearance. Appearance. Their appearance should be neat, and there should be modern dresses and all should not wear. Appearance should be neat. And chastity, appearance, speech, and work. Speech. The way of talking of the women should be very smooth. They should not fight with others, and they should not enter into politics like that. And they should be a smooth way they have to speak. Their way of speaking also very smooth. And work. They should confined and they should work in the household activities only. Completely they should be busy. For them, no need to come outside and no need to do any work. So women has to follow these 4 virtues. Whose idea is this? Chiang Kai-shek's idea. According to him, the women has to follow in China these 4 virtues. And even the Chinese women, they used to wear the frock like that, gown, long gown like that we call that. The hemlines means how much length it should be. What is the length of the dress, how much the length should be, that also decided by the government only. So indirectly he want to control the women's liberty. He don't want to give liberty to women. That was not at all accepted by women. Completely they rejected this type of things. Why? Because now slowly the women education also started. They are also thinking, they are also getting awareness and information about the European countries, how they developed and all. So that's why the women not at all satisfied with this. And at the same time, the rural areas, the labor also, the landless people, they are not at all satisfied. Why? Because their problems were not at all solved by Chiang Kai-shek. He not at all addressed the problems of the rural areas. So that's why the condition in the rural areas not at all changed. They were still in poverty, indebtedness increased more and more in the rural areas. So overall, the people of China not at all satisfied with Chiang Kai-shek, and he got opposition from the people and his popularity decreased, and because of him, the popularity of KMT party also started declining. Okay. Next we will discuss about
how Chinese Communist Party, it got the popularity, it won the hearts of the people, and who was the leader, what he did for the country. Tomorrow we will discuss.